This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. You gotta get a load of this. I've covered the WWE before. There's always symbolism. You can see it even in the logo with the 33, with the pyramids. They have no problem showing this stuff. Vince McMahon is probably one of the most wicked people in the world. And I'm not saying from the standpoint of like, oh, he's a bad guy. You know, I mean, I'm talking about, I can't imagine the things that this guy has done behind the scenes. There's so much stuff associated with wrestling. You know, people falling from rafters, people killing their families, people dying mysteriously at young ages. And they always just like, oh, it's steroid abuse and stuff like that. I have no doubt that this has all to do with ritual sacrifice. The way that WWE has gone from almost going out of business in the late 90s to being $100 a share stock when the ratings have never been lower. Wrestling's never been worse. If you are someone who's a fan of it, they'll even tell you it. Because all you got to do is look at the numbers and the ratings because they don't lie. Now, you have to see what they're doing with this character, Bray Wyatt, what they're promoting to kids. I mean, it is really disturbing. You know, you got characters on this program like Brock Lesnar calling himself the Beast. There's another character calling himself the Almighty. We see all of this stuff, and people still don't want to believe that there's anything satanic or occultic going on, right? You have Triple H calling himself the King of Kings, mocking Jesus Christ. But Bray Wyatt, this character, is promoting altars, okay? He's promoting altars. He has this character now. He's coming out, and I would show you the video clips, but WWE always sends out copyrights, and then the whole video gets blocked worldwide, or they just, it's ridiculous. But they've got this guy Bray Wyatt. He's supposed to, used to be a demonic character. Now he's, he's portraying somebody who has altars. So he goes from a good guy to a bad guy, kind of like a Mr. Rogers-like theme. It's pretty awful. And they're actually straight up showing you him talking about you can be whoever you want to be when you put this mask on, is what he's saying to the kids out there, right? Remember, the audience is teens and young kids. Mainly targeted towards young kids now. That's why the product is, it's not, they're subliminally like putting this evil stuff in, but people are like, oh, it's G-rated, it's PG-rated. It's not like, middle fingers and curse words and violent steel chairs. They are just MK Ultraing the crap out of their audience. So he's telling kids to let him in, right? Almost like, talking about invoking spirits to let him in, and then promoting altars and saying, you could be whatever you want to be if you put on this mask. So when he puts on this mask, he turns into this evil guy. When he doesn't, he's a normal guy, right? So get this, he's got this theme with these puppets, all right? And one of the puppets comes out and he talks about how friends shouldn't eat one another. Like, huh? Now, if you understand the occult and you understand the stuff I talk about on here, obviously we're all familiar with how these people work. Not just talking about sacrificing one another, sacrificing friends and how sick these people are, but talking about eating one another, right? The theme of cannibalism, which we've seen promoted from Santa Clarita Diet right on down to the vampire facial. They're normalizing all this stuff. So the little rabbit goes, friends shouldn't eat friends, right? And they're pretending almost like, everybody's the same, everyone's human. So he smashes him and kills him, and then eats him, and says how great it tastes, right? But wait, look what flies onto the television monitor. I didn't place this here. They actually put up a pentagram. I mean, they literally show the pentagram as like a transitional, look, there's the pentagram, and they cut to the next scene. I mean, how in your face does this stuff need to be for people to realize that they're talking about black magic, they're talking about the occult, and they're pretty much just programming people and normalizing this stuff and desensitizing them to the things that they do. So he does that. He eats the rabbit, and then it's supposed to be funny, and they show the rabbit sauce, and what does it say right on there? Bohemian flavor, right? Another reference, Bohemian Grove. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? Oh, you think, sorry, was he referencing Bohemian Rhapsody, or is Bohemian Rhapsody actually referencing Bohemian Grove as well? Okay, the Bohemian Club, everybody's aware, and it's about that time of year too. Everybody's getting all their cloaks, cleaned off to go hang out naked in the woods up in Northern California to perform these rituals on one another and on children. And nobody seems to care at all, except those of us who are screaming here on YouTube and people who are out there on the streets, taking it to the streets. But nobody seems to care, right? They're too busy. They got to play Pokemon Go on their phone, whatever the games they're playing, walking into walls, getting virtual reality, loving this stuff, loving the technology, loving the fact that people can alter their faces. I mean, it's unbelievable the things people care about, and if they only knew and listen to what we're trying to tell them, then maybe the world would be a different place. But we know this is prophecy. And this is all going to happen. It's written. It's all going to happen, and it is happening right in front of our faces. I mean, they even, Vince McMahon, they have no problem doing these devil references. And I'm not sure if those of you remember, but I covered, they actually have a wrestler named Aleister Black, who is based off of Aleister Crowley. That's how in-your-face obvious this is, right? Who's got all the tattoos, he does the gestures, right? He's supposed to be dark and occultic. He openly admits to being into it, right? And all the occult worship and Crowley worship. He knows that's what his character's based on. I mean, probably one of the worst characters ever. This is one of the reasons that wrestling's so bad. If you think a guy like this little twerp's going to beat somebody up in real life, because they're supposed to think that wrestling is like, oh, it's it's a fight, but maybe I think it's fake, but at least you want it to be believable. Like, this guy's going to do something to somebody. And it's pretty funny because WWF or WWE was just over in Saudi Arabia for a show, and they wouldn't allow this Aleister Black guy to go because they know what his character's based off of, and they came out and they said, look at the tattoos on his body, and then everyone in America's like, oh, okay, well, they're real weird over there. They won't even let women do this and that, so nobody looks into it. But he's got all the occult symbolism on his body openly. The guy's all tatted up with it, right? And they don't want that crap over there. Here in America, though, everybody's like, this is wonderful. This is great. We've got a character based. WWE, a family-oriented show, wink, wink, has a character based off of a guy who wrote in his books about ritually sacrificing young boys, as well as talking about in sex magic, using young boys and girls in sex magic rituals. So let's base a family-friendly character in the WWE off of it, and we'll still tell everyone it's a PG show, and then we'll have John Cena come out holding up the 666 sign, and then we'll let everybody know we promote all the agendas that the New World Order is heavily pushing right now. The LGBT, the anti-bullying was a big one for the WWE, right? I mean, a huge one. They go around, right, always talking about how they're prominent with the Make-A-Wish, which is pushing philanthropy, and this creepiness that they're just always talking about, John Cena's visited 8 million children this year. I mean, it makes me just highly concerned and worried, knowing the occult, knowing what they're up to, and if anyone thinks that John Cena and any of these guys aren't in it, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, now John Cena is a big, famous, rich actor like The Rock. I've covered The Rock before, right? The Rock talking about eating babies, like it's a joke. The Rock on Saturday Night Live doing skits that talk about child molesting robots. It's all right there. Right? They're telling you it. And that's part of this universal law. They have to tell you it. This is how their sigil magic flaming lifestyle works. They're constantly telling and showing and putting the spell on you. And companies like the WWE, what else are they pushing? Feminism, right? They have a main event at their wrestling event of women. Nobody cares. I mean, people don't watch it based on men and women. But they're just like, we got to put the women in the main event, stink up the joint, bore everyone to death. It's like 3, 4'5" girls fighting, fake fighting. I mean, they only do it is for the headline so that they can push the agenda. That's what Vince McMahon is told to do and does. He doesn't care if the product's crap. It's about the agendas. That's all it's about. They're not going to go out of business. They're not going to let them go out of business. In fact, they're going to reward them and give them a football league that's going to, not going to compete with the NFL. But, I mean, this is how this whole thing works. The whole scratch my back. I scratch yours, you scratch mine. This is the brotherhood, right? It starts at the bottom of Freemasonry, but at the end of the day, these people are all high-ranking occultists. A third-degree Freemason's probably not getting anywhere in life based on being a Freemason, but these people are, and these people worship Lucifer. That's why you're seeing Bray Wyatt and these guys promote it over and over and over. Oh, no big deal, folks. Parents are sitting in their living room with their kid. They flash the pentagram so fast, the parents don't even notice it. And then when they see it, the parents don't even know what it means. They're like, oh, yeah, I've seen that before. Does it mean anarchy? Oh, no, it means magic. It's used in Wicca. Upside down is black magic, Baphomet, whatever they want to claim it. Ooh, this one's good, this one's bad. This is good magic, that's bad magic. It's all bad magic. It's all crap, a pile of crap. And all they're doing is targeting you and your families and your children with characters like this. So now we have pentagrams flying on this screen. We've got, mock human, cannibal, let's just say cannibalism, okay, because it is what it is. Oh, friends sacrificing a friend. Friends don't eat each other. All these hints at this stuff. Brock Lesnar, the beast incarnate, right? All characters named Almighty, King of Kings, Undertaker, right? Oh, he's from the depths of hell, and Kane. I mean, it's unbelievable. And this is PG-oriented television for your kids. If this was the 80s, I'd be pretty hard-pressed to find this being allowed on television. To be honest, even though people look at it now, they're like, oh, it's soft, it's PG, it's not edgy. That's because they don't understand what they're doing and what they're trying to do with children. They want to keep targeting 8 and 10-year-olds. And no, they're not going to target them and have people go out and give them middle finger and stuff, because that's not the way they want to target them. They want to indoctrinate them with the occult, and that's what they're doing. Thank you for listening to today's show. Keep your kids away from this crap. It's absolute filth. Thank you again for listening. God bless all of you and your families.